everyone, welcome or welcome back to the Marketing Nomad YouTube channel. I am the Marketing Nomad. Alrighty, this is going to be a very heavy energy focused video today. Alright, so I am closing out a chapter in my life and I am very cognizant that I am closing out this chapter, and I wanted to share what that means to you. All right, because every time you are closing out a chapter in your life, there are certain things that you will have to go through in order to completely finally close out the chapter so that you can move into the next chapter of your life. Now, when I say chapter, I'll tell you which chapter this is for me. So for me, things started out really tough. This has been a 6-year chapter, to be very honest with you. And it has been intense. It has been so intense on my end. It took me about 3 years in to start figuring out how to get past this chapter, how to maybe overcome, how to learn the lessons that I needed to learn, how to grow as a person so that I could close out this chapter. And I've been doing that work for about 2.5 years, all right? Now, how I know I'm closing out this chapter of my life is because everything just went to absolute chaos all over again. I found myself in the same position that I was in 6 years ago when I started this chapter. And that is how I know I'm actually closing out this chapter. As difficult, as painful as it may be that you find yourself right at the beginning of the chapter, even though you've done so much of work to kind of come out of it, it's actually a very big sign that you are closing out the chapter. Now, here's what actually happens on an energetic level, all right? When you are ready to close out the chapter, when you have learned the lessons that you needed to learn in order to close the chapter, when you have become a version of yourself that can move on to the next chapter of your life, you are given one final opportunity to show that you have learned all the lessons that you were meant to, and this has now become part of your identity. It is no longer something that you do, it has become something that you are. All right, and many people call this a test, many people call this like a downfall, like the dip before the rise. I like to think of it as an opportunity for me to tell the universe, divine power, that hey, I've learned the lesson. I am this version of myself today. Please close the chapter for me so that I can move on to the next one. All right, so I have noticed this pattern again and again in my life, that every time I'm about to close a chapter in my life, I will go right back to where I started. It will be the exact same circumstances. Sometimes it's so eerie that I'm going through the exact same thing that I would have been going through like 6 years ago, or sometimes like 4 years ago. I'm in the exact same spot, but that does not mean that I am back where I started from. No. Today, I am starting from experience, and that's exactly why I'm going through this phase, because today I have the tools that I need, I have the resources that I need. I know what needs to be done when I find myself in a similar situation. I am a different version of myself. And so when you feel that dip, like you feel like, okay, I've been through a really hard time, I've kind of done my duty, I have figured out what I need to do in order to learn the lessons, in order to become a version of myself that is empowered by these lessons, and then the dip comes again, yeah, that's a sign that you are given an opportunity to align with the closing of the chapter. So it's about going back to the basics, going back to the whiteboard and saying, all right, well, what are the lessons that I learned during this phase of my life? Now, those lessons are playing out, but I have to show that these lessons are now incorporated within me. They are deep within me. I have become a version of myself that has stabilized in these lessons. So how can I utilize all the knowledge that I've gained in the last few years of being in this chapter? How can I use that to finally come out of this chapter? So this happened to me. It started happening. I could feel it. Like I could feel the tingly feeling in December. And it was full-blown in January and February for me, and I realized I am at the exact same position that I was 6 years ago. So what does this mean? This means that I'm actually closing out the chapter. It means that it is only going to be uphill from here, but this is the final opportunity for me to show that, okay, 6 years in the making, that's a lot of lessons, that's a lot of changes that has happened to me as a person, a big transformation that's happened within me as well. So let's go back to the drawing board. Let's go back and see, okay, well, what are the lessons that I learned? How to be more structured, create a routine, go back to the drawing board and figure out all of these lessons, implement those lessons so that I can close out this chapter for good. I'm still closing it out, but I am already starting to feel stabilized in the energy of coming out of it, right? So I'm not completely out of it, but it's only a matter of time. Like, I can feel it, and I am so much more confident about myself. So I wanted to share this with you because this is a pattern that I've seen repeat so many times in my life. Every time you've been through a difficult phase, you've grown, and then there's a dip, that means you're closing out that chapter. You're never going to be revisiting that. So that's the final opportunity for you to show that, hey, I've learned the lessons, I've grown as a person. I'm going to show it to you so that you can finally say, lesson done, tick. And then never ever get me back to that. Of course, if I regress, then it will kind of be what I'm manifesting and it'll come back again. But oftentimes that dip is just a final opportunity for you to show that, hey, I learned the lesson. You can close out the chapter. You don't have to bring it back anymore. Right, so that is where I am at right now. I am still going through it. I took a few days off in February. I kind of revisited all the lessons that I learned. I'm like, okay, we've kind of been through this before, but today we're like 6 years in, right? We're so much better than how I was 6 years ago. I'm much more knowledgeable at this point. I'm a lot more wise. There's a lot of more resources at my hand at this point. I have figured out a lot of tools that have worked for me. So let's go back to the drawing board, use all of that, and then come out of the same energy that we were in 6 years ago, but this time as a more evolved version of myself, as a more transformed version of myself, with extra tools, with all that I need, all the lessons also learned within me. So I did that. I went back to the drawing board, and then I stabilized in that energy. So now it's just me continuing to be in that energy before the chapter closes out for good, right? And I can feel it. So I know that I am close to this chapter ending, and I know that it is only going to be uphill from here because I've learned the lesson that I needed to go through. This was a 6-year thing that played out for me, to be very honest with you. It was very long. The last 2.5 years, I would say it's been a lot better because it was more so about me learning and implementing those lessons. But the first 3.5 years, I guess I would say, yeah, that was brutal. That was really rough, and I didn't even know where to start, what to do. And it's painful sometimes, right? You've been through so much, you've grown past it, or you think that you've grown past it, only to be pulled back to where you started off. It can be really painful. For me, it was excruciatingly painful before it hit me, and I'm like, hey, no, this means we're closing out the chapter. It's not like we're going backwards, no. So that was something that I had to tell myself and remind myself. And then I got to work. Like, the moment I realized, hey, we're closing out a chapter, that's why we're kind of going through the final dip before it rises. So, okay, that means I shouldn't be upset. That means this is an opportunity for me to show that I've learned the lessons that I was supposed to, and I've become a version of myself that can handle the next chapter. So let's prove that. Let's show that so that we can enter the next chapter. All right, so I am entering a new chapter. I can feel it as well. I am closing out this chapter. I'm very close to the end. I can feel that as well. There will be a little bit of a void before the next chapter starts. That's probably where I am at right now. I can feel it as well. So I'm just going to keep going. I am beginning a new chapter. This is with respect to my business, but it does actually influence a lot of my personal life as well. I can feel it. I'm literally at the precipice of a new chapter, and I can feel it. And I know it because the same cycle repeated, and this time I was able to handle it. And that is the final, I guess, signal that you're closing out a chapter, and you won't revisit that. You will move past that because you've learned. That's become who you are, and you've transformed. You've gone through the necessary transformation that you were supposed to at that point of your soul's growth, right? So I wanted to share this with you because when I started, like in December, I started feeling the energy of the downfall, and I was like, I was spiraling. I was really spiraling. I was like, I put in so much of effort. Why is this happening all over again? I found myself in the same position that I was 6 years ago. This is absolutely heartbreaking. Like, has the 6 years that I've been through, all the effort that I put in, was that for waste for me to only go back to where I started out? But then I remembered that no, that's often a sign that you're closing out the chapter. So that means that's it. We're done with this chapter. We're almost at the end. So let's just prove one final time that we are exactly who we are meant to be at this point in time. We've grown. We've learned the lesson. Let's close out this chapter. And so that mental switch was really important for me. So I wanted to share that with you because this happens. This is a very, very common pattern. If you feel like, you've been through a tough phase and you've grown as a person, and then you find yourself at the beginning of where you started out, that's a sign that you're closing out the phase. All right. So just take some time at that point in time. Ask yourself, well, what were the lessons that I learned during this phase, and how have I grown as a person? How can I utilize that growth and that transformation within me? How can I utilize in this situation and re-tackle the situation in this version of you with the new resources, with the new wisdom, with the new knowledge that you do have, so that you can close it out and be done with it. All right. And then start your new chapter as well. So it worked. It really, really did work. Like I said, I'm now in the stabilization phase. The chapter doesn't feel closed just yet. But I feel like I'm at the end. It's probably like another month of me continuing in this energy, because you have to stabilize in that energy as well, right? So it's like another month of me stabilizing in this energy, and I'm pretty sure the chapter is done. I am not going to be revisiting this chapter ever again in my life, and I'm very, very sure of it. And I know that the next chapter, I'm already starting to feel the energy of the new chapter. There are like glimmers and small signs that I'm starting to enter a new chapter in my life. The peace that I feel right now is also in alignment with the new chapter that's starting in my life. So I'm feeling it, and I just wanted to share this with you because it's a pattern. It's definitely a pattern. So if you feel like you're going backwards, no, actually that's a new starting point, so that you can close out the chapter and start your new chapter. All right. So if you've ever been through that and you want to share that with me, definitely do that in the comments. I would love to hear about it. Like I said, this was a more energy focused video. I love talking about energy. Like, everything is energy, and energy is everything for me. I love talking about it. You can definitely expect more videos of this, of energy talks, especially coming from me, because that's just who I am today. And I love talking about it. It's so embedded in who I am as a person as well. So yeah, if you have experienced anything of this sort, definitely let me know in the comment section below. If this helped you in some way, kind of brought a new realization within you, definitely do give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because that tells you every single time I do upload a new YouTube video. Alrighty, take care, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye bye.